specific questions. And if you go to my YouTube, there's also videos just straight up called Homework Help. So people playing along at home, we did 47. You missed that. But essentially, since we went up 15 and then back down 15, we ended up where we started. So, Emery, what is Gina's trick on 48?
So, for 48, if I were her, I'd combine the two positives together. And you don't even need to know what the result of that is because
You're trying too hard. You are following my directions from yesterday. But Gina's not.
Okay,
Gina's got a trick that she thinks lets her outsmart the directions from yesterday based off these problems. So hang on, I bet when we show you the trick, you're going to be like a little upset. Oh, well, what's her... Because she wouldn't add the positives together first.
I know, but that's just what I thought you wanted me to say. So
Don't say what you think I want you to say. Say what you want to say. What do you want to say? Forget what I want.
Well, if you just take the 583.6 and minus it from the other 503.8, I don't know.
Oh.
The other number that's the same.
What do
And
we
you just
call
get
these? What do we call these?
Identical twins.
Oh, I didn't
See,
do that.
one starts with O, and I sure hope you can figure it out. They're opposites. But guys, in your math notes, which you don't have to flip to your math notes right now, but in your math notes, I don't know why it feels like I'm competing to talk. Like, I can make a seating chart. I don't want to, because I like letting you guys sit where you're comfortable. These are additive inverses. So the additive identity is plus 0 does nothing. But the additive inverse says if you take a number and its opposite, that's nothing. So refer to your math notes if you want to. But what Emery just said is, so that and that, they're opposite, so that's nothing. So our answer, 212.72. Right, 212 and 72 hundredths. If we read that correctly. Raiden, B is different. Can you help me? B is different than A because it doesn't just have two opposites like right.
Like 300, I just got rid of fraction for a second.
So forget about this for a moment.
Yeah, then I did 313 minus 300 plus negative 313. And I added the fraction back to 13.
Because really 313 is 313. And then we have the negative. Oh, so if I break this apart, I can find my opposites and my 300 and my negative 300. Oh, so we do have the 13. And what else do I have to remember? Yeah, don't forget that fraction that you forgot about for a second. Guys, it's fine to ignore part of the problem for a moment. Make your life easier, as long as you're not breaking any rules. Lane, you got a thought about C?
It wasn't like the same, or it was like like A and B, but they were kind of easier. But
Yeah.
I just did 200 plus 150. I kind of took out the 12 and the 0.75.
So I'm going to put the 12 first then, but you said you looked at the 200.
Yeah.
So we'll ignore that for a minute, but I'm going to write it so I don't forget it.
The 200 and the 150.
Okay, so you forgot about the 0.75 for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, so negative 150, and I'm running out of space, but I'm going to squeeze it in like above here. So make sure we remember it's negative 0.75, and I should really have a 0, but I'm trying to cram this stuff in.
Oh.
So what'd you get here?
I mean, like 150 plus 5 is 200, so I got 50. Like.
Yeah, so we still have that 12.
Yeah.
This got us 50.
Yeah, so 50 plus 12, plus minus negative 75 is 1.15.
Yeah, because we can just pull this out of one of the numbers, but either way, it's going to leave us like a positive 0.25. So 51 and that positive 0.25 left over. Very good. Now be careful, if you remember the toilet paper activity that we did, if your advisory did it, the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is similar to that activity of it. If you unroll the entire toilet paper roll, you have to tell a lot of things about yourself, right? So So be careful. Here's what we're going to do. And actually, you don't really need to read the directions, but it is on your paper. So 223, if you want to switch over to 223, remember now is not our time that we're doing our homework. No. I need time, like... Right, if you're still working on classwork, that's fine. But if you're working on homework, your reaction looked like you were working on homework and then I called you out. If you were just doing the classwork, I can also bump back to it. If you were still writing it down. Alright, but here's what you're doing. So know what you're getting yourself into before you do it. The cups at your table need to be shared. But from that cup, and guys, you're going to need your graph paper out. That's like an always thing. So from yesterday, you should have the repeating decimals. We stopped at absolute value yesterday, right? We stopped at absolute value. So if you still have some graph paper, you could like draw a line across here. I would just probably put a date on it of 9/28. I mean, if you really want to know what we're doing, it's more addition. We're just practicing more addition. And honestly, I might start a new page just to keep things clean. By the way, guys, if you ever miss class, it's real easy for me to take this to the copy machine and copy it. So especially those of you playing along at home, if you miss these notes and don't want to write them on your own. All right, so yeah, we can label this just probably like more addition. Except this bled through a bunch, so I'm going to move on. More. So it's 9/28. All right, here's what you're going to do. From your cup, do not dump out the whole thing and commit yourself to the whole thing. Because if you commit yourself to this whole thing, you're going to do a lot of counting. You're going to take some of these tiles, and we call these integer tiles because they are entire tiles. Whatever tiles you commit to. Hey guys, I'm still giving instructions, so the fact that you're talking to each other means you're going to miss the instructions. We're then going to sort them into their teams. And I do not mean you're going to take this time to make an artistic picture with these tiles. You can do that later if you want. This is math class. So we're going to sort them into teams. And then we're going to figure out which team wins and by how much. And then we're going to write that in our graph paper. Of the first situation we had, I had this many positive, this many negative. Here's what it ended up being. And then you're going to talk to your partner about who has a greater value. Who has a greater value? Any questions? You could write it on your 223 paper, but honestly, I would just put it on your graph paper because your graph paper is going to like be easier for you to refer back to. All right, go for it. Grab a handful, whatever you commit to. Each of you are doing this. It's like each partner grabs a handful. Each partner has their own space to work. Each partner grabs a handful. Each partner has their space to work. Count out how many positives. Count out how many negatives. So each partner needs tiles. So like you grab a handful, you grab a handful. Each partner needs their own. Each partner needs their own. It's probably whatever material was cheapest for them to purchase.
Who's them?
CPM. 1, 2. So I'm going to sort these into groups of 5 just because it makes my life easier. And
He just said it. Kicked out of the class.
Ha! I couldn't have even planned this. You guys watched it happen. I did this randomly. But what just happened up here for me? I'll take a hand for whoever wants to. Emery, what just happened?
They're equal.
Well, what do you mean? What do I have? If I'm going to write this out on my paper.
You have 11 and 11.
Close. I have 11 positives. And I have 11 negatives. And what happens if you have 11 positives and 11 negatives?
No,
Zero.
It's 0. But if my partner ended up with a value of -3, who's greater?
Wait.
Me. Because 0 is greater than negative numbers. This, guys, greater means higher up. Right? Greater doesn't mean bigger number. It means higher up. So negative 20 compared to positive 10, positive 10 is greater. It's higher up the number line. All right, chat with each other. What do you got? Who's got more?
So
Write it down on your paper so you know what you got. How many positive, how many negative? What does it come out to be?
mine's so close.
So positive 13, right? Or positive
Okay,
10.
so
3,
I got
6, 9, 10. And then negative. Okay, so what's it come out to be? So
So I
every time
got
you do this, it's 0, right? So how many zeros can we make?
plus
Well, as
negative.
many as we have pluses, right? So how many negatives do we have?
Isn't that?
So that's what your
What did you
value is
get?
going to end up
I
being,
got 9
negative 2.
minus 9
How we
plus.
doing over here? Got at least one written down?
So yeah.
So then, this very, hey friends, a lot of you asked me about this and I said go away. Sorry, I love you. Like seriously, I do. Love my job, love you guys. But when I won't help you, that's for your own good. Like if I tell you like, no, I will not help you, like you'll know this later. So if we look here at 51A from last night's homework, how many positives do I have? Just shout it out.
5,
How many negatives do I have?
3,
Who wins?
2,
Positive 2. Now part B, hey, I'm doing some of your homework for you. You don't have to do this right now, but like hopefully you're paying attention so you can remember what we're being asked to do in part B, like the video I showed you, is we start at 4. This was from one of our PBS Math Club videos. How far did I go? 6, Bethany, which direction, positive or negative? And where did I end up? Absolutely. So that's what we're doing on like those, which of course C and D you still have to do. But that is what from last night's homework. Now you also have at your desk something that I wanted to show you guys that will probably help you. Ooh, not that yet. Our game is next. You also have these, which are effectively the same thing. So I just wanted to show you guys, if your brain works better in colors, these are the same thing as these. Now there's just less of them because CPM sent a ton of the algebra or the integer tiles and I bought these. If we're comparing these, which do you think should be positive and which do you think should be negative?
Red should be positive.
White should be positive.
Red should be.
Red, guys, not making this up, not a math teacher thing. Red is legitimately the color of negative. In finances, like in accounting, if a number is written in red, it is debt. It is negative. Hey, Matt, you're doing exactly what I said not to. It's really disrespectful. I said these are not to be played with right now, and you're making a tower. In accounting, a debt is red. One of the reasons Black Friday is called Black Friday. Anyone know?
There's no debt.
Most businesses, okay, maybe not most, a lot of businesses are in debt by the time you get to Thanksgiving because you haven't made enough money during the year to pay off all your debts. All the sales at Thanksgiving are meant to push your business back into the black. Into the black means you're positive. Into the red means you're negative. So if someone says, like, you're into the red, that's negative. If you're into the black, that's positive. So that accounting terms, red is negative, black is positive. We can't write on a piece of paper in white, right? But for the tiles, if you want to use these, if you're trying to do math and you want a manipulative, so if I have 4 positives and 2 negatives, who wins? Well, I can line these up and say, oh, well, that's 0, that's 0. How many positives do I still have? 2. So my positive will win by 2. If I slap on a bunch more negatives, well, now this is representing negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And positive 4, who wins? The negative by 3, because these balance each other out. So whichever manipulative helps you do your math. But guys, I got a lot of things we're going to use this year. When we're using my manipulatives in class, we are not playing with toys. Okay, you are in 7th grade now. Sorry, we can play with toys, but not during math class. I got racks and racks of board games over there. I'm all about playing games. Not during math class, though. All right, put these back in your cup, put these back in the bag, and then I have a game for us.
You just said there's no games in math class, and then you're like,
No,
I
I
have
said
a game.
the manipulatives are not meant to be played with. I did not say there are no games in math class. Pretty much every game I play is math. Like, I'm going to go to game night tonight and use some math to try to win those games. You each get one of these, but you start by sharing one. Okay, so I'm going to give one to each of you, but then you're going to play on the same board. Maybe I should have just given one to each of you to start. So I'm going to give one to each of you, but then you're going to play on the same board.
When you're on graph paper or not?
I don't write on the back of my graph paper, like just because it gets a little, like especially when you put it in your notebook, it gets a little, like just dirty from the other papers, like being against it. If you've ever played, correct me when I say it wrong, because I'm probably going to say it wrong. If you ever played Sudoku, however you say it, this is similar to that. Hey, if you want to save yourself from reading the directions, just listen. Like, look up here and listen. These are your game pieces. One of you is going to pick positive, and one of you is going to pick negative. You guys decide. If you can't decide, play rock, paper, scissors to decide. Then, one of you is going to go first, and to decide that, you're going to play rock, paper, scissors. So if you want my official rules for rock, paper, scissors, it is rock, paper, scissors, shoot. You throw on shoots, or throw, or whatever. You don't throw on scissors, like that's just you decide at your table. So then, let's say I'm positive and I go first. Let's say I'm playing against Don. Well, okay, never mind. Do you want to be positive or negative? Positive, okay. So I'm going to go first because I know how to play, but it actually doesn't really matter at first. So if I'm negative, these are my game pieces. When I use one, I lose it, it's gone. So if I put -2 here, it's gone and I cross it out. Donna now gets to pick where she puts a positive number, and the goal of the game is for each row and each column, whatever the sum comes out to be, positive or negative, that person gets a point. So, Donna, what number would you like to play? It's going to be a positive. 4, where do you want to play it?
Right next to 2 on the other side.
Over here? Okay, so then, if I'm still going to fight for this row, I'm going to go, so Donna's 4 is gone. I'm going to go -3 to just outweigh. What are you going to do, Donna? So right now it's +4 to -5. How could you win that row? You don't have to go that big. You can. So if Donna puts a 5 here, which I'll let you guys. Donna says instead I'd rather save my 5 and I'll put my 3 here. So +7 versus -5. What is the result? Positive. +7 versus -5. +2. Who got the point?
Donna.
Donna got the point. There are 8 points to be had when the game is over. You gotta remember to cross out your numbers as you go because you can't use the same number twice. But we're also going to score the columns. So, like, all Donna and I did was focus on one row, but there's 4 rows and 4 columns. There's a lot to think about.
So you try to get all the numbers.
You're trying to get the sum to be your value, either positive or negative. So I'm negative, so I would like these numbers to come out negative.
And whoever has more wins.
Whoever has more points at the end wins. If you need the rules, they're on your paper. The rules are on your paper. If you're one of the people that needs to read them, you got to pick positive, negative. You're fighting. What Carolina's lead? All right, Sophie. We're gonna play against each other. Oh, guys, you're playing on one sheet. You're playing on one paper, right? The same paper. You're playing together on the same paper.
Did he say we have to do
All right, I'll be Carolina for a minute. Who's positive? Who's negative? Who's positive? Okay. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah, you get to go first. -4. So now we cross it out. Alright, so cross it out. I'm just going to counteract that with +4.
Impossible!
Even out.
even it out?
If it's 0, it's nobody gets a point. Guys, the it's all up there. Like, it's all on your paper, guys. Oh, that was clever. Because if I play +3, it's tie, so I either have to play +5 and total. Yeah, I'm going to play +5 to get a point. So now 9, -7, so +2, and that's a positive point. Oh, yeah. Sorry, thanks.
No, it can't
Oh,
go.
no, it's still your turn. Nope. Rows and columns.
You'll never defeat me. Nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Well, it depends if you're looking this way or looking this way. This way you're winning, and this way you're winning. You're winning both directions right now. Right now.
I need to turn this so I can see.
-8.
-7. You make at least 7.
So now I have to go.
So
9.
9, -7. You're also playing against the math teacher.
Oh, shoot, wait, hold on.
Because Carolina left. It's not my fault.
No, what's
So 10 minus 8.
I wonder where that
I'm so bad at this.
No, so that's 8 point for positive. So I would put like a B over here as positive. Got a point. Hey, if I was you to make your life easier, hey, once somebody gets a point, like this was a positive point, you could just like put a P over here for positive point. Carolina, I got you a strong start. Sorry, I think Sophie's mad at you for leaving, but I got you a strong start.
You know? Oh, wait, that's let me look at your thing.
Zombie.
You have the upper hand.
Can you take it?
I hate you.
Aww.
even it out?
Thank you.
I thought I was gonna go back on the
I
ground
know,
for
me
a
too.
second.
Like,
-6.
see how it is?
Right now I have -10. Better than my last.
Oh.
Real quick, and then I'll let you finish playing. I need some help figuring out who would win these win-a-row games. Where did I put my cards? There they are. So, These are the results of the rows or columns after they've put bad guys with bad guys, good guys with good guys. They're trying to figure out who wins and by how much. So Ashley with A, -8, +2. Who wins and by how much? Hey guys, we're doing this and it's on your paper, so you might want to grab your 2, 2, 3. We're doing this real quick. It's on your paper. Yeah, negative wins and by 6. Absolutely. Arfon, what about, ooh, -5 and -3. That's a whole lot of
-8.
-8, so they obviously take that win. Sorry, I forgot. It's not all good guys versus bad guys. That was bad guys teaming up with bad guys, right?
Oh, this is on our sheet.
Yes, I said that like 3 times.
My bad.
Sam, what about 2 plus -4?
2 plus -4 equals 2.
2,
2 positive.
2.
Oh, 2 negative. I'm sorry.
Yes, I switched color just because I don't really like how the red is looking. It's not that easy to see. Sophie, -7 and -7. I know, they're not fighting against each other. What are they doing? They're teaming up, right? So what do they make? -14. So I was trying to relate this to winter row. I shouldn't have tried to relate this to winter row. Carolina, -4 and +3. Yeah, -1. Man, the bad guys keep winning today. Bethany, ooh.
What?
What about F?
Uh,
Aw, F.
so.
It's letter F.
-6.
So there is a -6 when I put the bad guys together, but there's still this +8. So -6 plus 8. -6 with a +2. Hey, again, this is on your paper. If you want some things to refer back to, this is on your 2, 2, 3. Matt, what about in G? Oh, G. Oh, because we have opposites. If you spot opposites, you know they wipe each other out. And Jane, what about H? It's 0. All right, keep playing winter row. You got like a minute left. Or Kamal, I know. You guys decide. You need to do 118. Did you do? You need to do 118. That's why I would not help you when you asked for help. Guys, your homework won't always feel E-word. Like, it's gonna push you to think. Alright, friends, if you want to start packing up and heading out, all the extra game boards on the back of that paper are just for you if you want to play with anyone. That is all just for you. Oh, I put new videos up, by the way, in Schoology. If you go check out Schoology, there's new stuff in there. Oh! Hey, for all of you